Good morning, 'cause I need somebody who will stand by me through the good and bad time. You will always be right there for me. Sunny day, everybody loves them. But tell me, baby, can you stand the rain? This we know for sure. But can you stand the rain? Hey, good morning, family. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Whatever side of the diaspora that you may be on. Welcome, welcome to the Mental House with me, your host, Khadija. You know what? I'm going to do this quick video because a lot of y'all have been sending me emails saying that because um, I'm a supporter of the 5150 show, that why wouldn't I make a comment about what is going on? Not so much that I'm avoiding the situation. I just kind of wanted to see what was going on with it and just doing like I do, hoping for the best. I kind of figured that it would go this way. Um, if anybody remembers, I think I mentioned that on somebody's program or on Blog Talk. I think I said that it's possibility that a lawsuit will come out of this because this is a day and age that we're living in. Um, but personally, I think it can be rectified. I think the lawsuit can be dropped. I think though that that's going to take a lot of taming of some egos in order for that to happen. So, first of all, let me say I'm going to do the video, and sometimes when you do stuff, you might step on a few toes, but I'm doing it in love because I am a supporter of the 5150 Nation. In fact, you can see I got on my 5150 Nation. I just think that we're so close in common when we talk about mental issues. I think that's one of the reasons why I like Corey's show so much, not because of the crazy shit he talks, because of course I don't agree with everything he says, and a lot of more times he's more vulgar or talks more stuff that I I'm like, oof, dude, you're just graveling in a low pit. But the authenticity of his heart and the nature of him that will talk about issues that most people shy away from is one of the main reasons I watch him. Most comedians you learn a lot from. Uh, I have a lot of, I won't say a lot, but I have a few comedians that are in my circle, and they are crazy. And a lot of them have a lot of family issues, just like the rest of us, that will enable us to be 5150 or to be in the mental house. So we're all the same and we're all hypocrites. But what I wanted to do is I really wanted to make quick comment um, and do it in love. I think y'all should take sometimes better advantage of Darlene's energy as a woman because a lot of times she do try to civilize the situation, but y'all testosterone be so crazy that most of the time, and Darlene talks so slow that it's almost like Archie Bunker. And as when when what does he do to Edith? You know how he puts the gun to his head, he puts the bullet in the chamber, and then he goes. So there's a lot of that going on, and so which enables you guys to crack up, but really it's not funny. Y'all should take advantage of her because if you did do sometimes you would it would be possible that some of that stuff wouldn't have went on that way. Excuse me, let me shut this down. Some of the stuff that's going on that way. Y'all gotta remember, if I remember correctly, Darlene says she works with people who in the stage of life that are going on, passing on. So with that being said, her just going through that alone, um, it makes her see things a little differently. So you should take advantage of that. A lot of that petty stuff that, a lot of us may want to fight over, I could see her using that to her advantage. She's dealing with people that are at the last stage of life. So she knows how to appreciate what's trivial and what's not. And I think sometimes y'all guys, y'all get too caught up in y'all testosterone. As far as Zoe is concerned, you know, I think Zoe mentions his bad temper, and I think he's mentioned it in one of his books. And when you start listening to his background, you would understand extremely why. Uh, you would understand why in the world he feels that way. So I'm not making any excuses for any of them. First of all, so let me start because, like I said, I love everybody. So let me be as objective as I possibly can, yet to tell the truth because time is running out. Listen, first of all, Aries. I wish the end part would have never ever happened because actually you would have went home, you would have looked at the video, and then you would have saw just how crass and arrogant and pompous you was, and not allowing anybody else to speak. And I don't think you would have been proud of your behavior. I think you already know gin make you sin, so why would you come on there with that gin and drink on it like that? I mean, and I'm saying this. This is from a fan. I think your impressions are impeccable. I think that you built a brand in Hollywood from Mad TV on up until now, and I would never want to see you humiliated the way you were. And um, I think that you was unruly to Zoe, and you kept poking him, and you kept doing, just crazy things. I'm not gonna say so much about bitch because Corey says bitch on the show all the time, and Darlene is sitting right there. So I don't necessarily agree with him saying that you called Darlene a bitch. You just said a bitch with so and so, so and so. Well, the word is thrown around so loosely on there. You can't just pick and choose how you want to use it. In my opinion. But you was rude, dude. You was out of order, and that's only because you were drinking like that. And like I said, I wish the end part had never happened because I believe at the end of the day, had you saw that, you probably would apologize to all of them. You probably would have been like, damn, why y'all let me get that high? Why y'all let me get that drunk? And personally, I believe the lawsuit is only taking place because after it happened, it seemed Corey kind of just humiliated you. It's not seeming like he's taking any responsibility for what has happened. At least right away, he wasn't. He wasn't taking any responsibility. He was more or less like, saying what you did. And, of course, you would be angry if you got beat up on international airwaves. So I think that he could have handled it better than berating you. You've already stated that he was your favorite comedian, and I believe you because it happened so far in advance of this incident. I know it had nothing to do with that, so I believe you. Just so happened, you let your alcohol get the best of you, and that was not good. You know, so I'm hoping that y'all can, you know, work this out. I'm really hoping that you can. Nothing is too big. If Corey was once your favorite comedian, I wouldn't let this incident. I would hope not. It's not too late to recant anything, but I get it because you had no business being attacked on the show. Period. But remember, Corey isn't the one who attacked you. Okay. Now, I agree that he could have stopped it. So now I'm gonna go to you. You were wrong, and I know you know that. You're a thinking man, and a man that thinks like you. Sometimes we're all products of our environment. You know that. And I'm speaking to y'all like a big sister or a big aunt, because I'm old enough to be most of y'all parents, except Darlene. But and I'm old enough, so so I'm saying I'm just trying to speak this in peace, and as also as a fan of the 5150 show. Although I don't agree with everything you say, I appreciate and respect your authenticity, and that's why I look at it. It's pretty much one of the only programs, to be honest with you, that I can look at with my nephew and my daughter and my younger relatives, and not be too offended, because you talk about the stuff that needs to be said and it needs to be heard. Um, like I said, and I know you being a thinking man, this has embarrassed you more than anything. You know, all the topics that you bring on the Voice of Reason, all those things. I don't know if any of them has got as many hits as this craziness from you beating up this man on international television. And I know this is not the first time that you've been told about your temper. That's why that happened, because that's still a part of you that needs a lot of work. And so it's not because of our popularity that we have to minimize those things. And I'm not saying that that's what you're doing. I'm just saying that sometimes the universe have a way of bringing that stuff right up full front. Because I know you. I know anybody that thinks like you should not um, be that out of control emotionally. And the fact that Aries was drunk, and the fact that you said that you're clean and sober, and you actually wore that as a badge of honor, but you were the only one that lost control, that's a travesty. Because I'm with the thinking people, and you didn't represent us that day. So, and I know you're more embarrassed than anything, because I would be. But then when I go past that, I say, okay, I always think about the person's environment as well. And when you told that story, I think in one of your books I read, because I supported both of them, for the record. And I don't know if it was a rebirth of seeds, or if it was the relationship this month, but you talked about being somewhere where you was exposed to all these good, great things, and books and things that make you smart, make you zo. And you had a life that was exposed to a lot of good things, and you were able to participate in a great life, although you were in foster care because you had been removed from your mom. Then all of a sudden, your mom gets all of her kids back, and then that's a trauma for a child. And then when you said you had to have your brother, you and your brother made you fight all the time. That and to be now you're going from living a good life, having your own room, having all to going to the project. Listen, when I've dealt with children, I used to run a group home with children, and the emotional trauma that we have dealing with my own issues, and as a PK, as we say. I came from a two-parent household, but I think my parents were too rigid. So my trauma may have been in a different way, and it exemplifies itself in a different way. But I can understand why you're so angry. I really can, because for that to happen to a child and to be uprooted, and into that type from a good environment to hell, and then to be made fight every day against people that you're not even fighting with. I had cousins that lived in the project. I'm not trying to be funny, no disrespect. I go through it in St. Louis. I had some that lived in Cabrini Green and Robert Taylor home in Chicago. I hated going over there. I grew up in a house. And no disrespect to anybody that grew up in the projects. I'm just saying, as a kid, I used to hate to go over there. I used to hate to go in the hallways, and it was pissy, and that's what it smelled like, and all that stuff. And all these kids had to play around. Hell, in my backyard, I could play by myself. In my own, so it was just, I didn't have that type of environment. That doesn't mean, you know, I was just exposed to different things. So when Zoe said that, y'all don't understand it. That's a big trauma for a child. And there were some things that Aries may have been touching that just weren't worked out, and he acted out. But I saw in that moment, I saw his childhood. And like I said, I believe Zoe is more remorseful than any of us could ever imagine. And the fact that he's known for something like that is just doing all of y'all a travesty. However, if that incident allowed y'all to look at some old Voices of Reason shows or try to understand who Zoe Williams is, then I applaud you. Then that incident didn't happen in vain. It happened for the good, because that means, you know, it brought you more viewership, and I think that the content of your conversation needs to be spread. That's why I support you. Now, last but not least, crazy, crazy Corey. Crazy, crazy Corey. Okay, Corey. Corey, you are the ringmaster, and you did not command the ring. You just didn't do it. Now, let's look for a minute about this, because you said that you was going to invite him before. You said, but he makes you go. You said it. You said it. So that means he's a bit much. He's a bit much. So you went against your own intuition, and you say you trust your instinct, but you didn't bring him on there. And then one time he reneged, so for whatever reason. Um, but the fact of the matter is, um, you knew, you knew that if he's already like this, it makes you go, why would you sit there and let him drink all of this alcohol? You know, gin make you sin. And this is not the Voice of Reason. It's not the Darlene show, but it's the 5150 show, Corey Holcomb 5150 show. And I'm going to hold you responsible, because I wouldn't want to come on your show and get beat up by anybody. And I think you have an obligation to check them and me. And don't say I shouldn't be talking a certain way or whatever. But if I'm drunk, and you guys know I'm drunk, it could have been just as easy for you to either replace us as the author and the producer of the program, is, to get us away from, separate us, because this is going to get out of hand if I leave this person over there. And you had the wherewithal to do that. You could have done it because y'all went to a break earlier in the show. So I got to hold you accountable for that. And then the hypocrisy of, who was it? Kevin Hart. Anytime somebody brings up Kevin Hart wearing a dress or Monrovia wearing a dress, I mean, you good with it. So you have no business berating Aries about his stance on Hollywood wearing dresses and all that, and keep berating him. You had no business, in my opinion, doing that, because it just added to his drunkenness and him trying to defend himself. So you got to be okay with, you should have protected Zoe, and you should have protected Aries. Aries was drunk, and you should have said, listen, on the 5150 show, dude, we don't get tipsy like that. But if you want to do what you got to do, it's cool. If that's what you want to do. But I'm going to move Zoe over here with me, because I see Aries getting a little bit too loud. And I don't think Zoe know him like that. Or whatever. You had the responsibility to do that. But you kept pouring salt into the wound even after the incident. And me personally, I think that's the only reason the lawsuit has even been come out like that. I hope all of y'all can go to the park somewhere, brothers, and sit down, work that out, because I love all of y'all. Okay? Aries, you need to get that drinking under control. You really do. And that was not proper protocol, what you did on that show. Poking on Zoe, just over talking him, being belligerent, being really just, oof. He was just, like Corey said, woosah. So you wrong. So you owe an apology for that. Okay? So you already know. You can't assault people. I don't care how to make it, especially if they're drunk. You had an obligation to walk away. You had an obligation to your sons to show them what time it really is. And you lost it. You didn't do the right thing. And it's not the first time, and you got to get that in check. Lastly, Corey. Really? You already know. ringleader, ringmaster. Okay, you didn't command the ring. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Now I love all of y'all, and I hope we work this out. And with love, I want to say I wish love and blessings on every one of y'all. Okay. All right. All right, family. If y'all like what you heard, so you see I'm not biased in my approach either. Chapter 2 and y'all who sent me the emails, you already know I'm not. So thank you. And if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time in the mental house. Bye bye.